Jack was walking home after a late night at work, but then he slowly started to feel dizzy, and everything turned into darkness. He opened his eyes in a jungle. When he took a look around, he spotted a jaguar which was slowly waking up. He needed to run. There were 3 different paths ahead. Which one should he choose? The first path is covered with fog, which makes it easy to get even more lost. The second path leads to a steep, rocky terrain, which can slow him down if the jaguar decides to chase him. So he should pick the third path. But hey, maybe you're a true adventurer, unlike Jack. So let us know in the comments if you would choose another road. Jack followed the road and arrived at a riverbank. Something was not right. What did Jack see? And here's a question for you, which is also a hint. What is the weirdest thing you found in the water? And look inside the river. There are small historical artifacts floating in the water with the stream. Ancient-looking artifacts. But as soon as he did, an arrow flew by and stuck in the tree right next to his head. Someone was attacking him. What should he do to escape them? Don't let Jack get hurt. See these giant flower leaves here? They're actually covering the entrance of a cave. Jack should go and hide in there. The cave was pitch black, but fortunately, Jack had a lighter in his pocket. As soon as he walked further inside, he tripped over something. When he checked out what caused this, he saw a 3-digit combination padlock, covering a secret door to an underground tunnel. There was also a note next to it, hinting at the right combination. Take a look at it. Can you help Jack crack the code? Let's check. The answer is 042. Did you get it right? Jack took the stairs that led to an underground lair. That's when someone came running to him and said, "Please help me save my husband! The evil doctor, he cloned him. I don't know which one is him, and I only have one chance." How can Jack figure out the real husband? This lady's husband doesn't have much time. Identify him in the comments before it's too late. The answer is the guy on the right. If you were able to catch the name tag the lady is wearing, you saw that her name tag is Lauren. And check out this guy's tattoo on his arm. It's the letter L, so he is the real husband. As soon as Jack helped the lady save her husband, an evil-looking archaeologist entered the lair. "Congrats, you passed my test. I knew I captured the most clever person to help me find the immortality crown of the kingdom of Solaris. Once it is mine, I'll only let you go back home. Now we must hurry to the temple gates to find which one this key will open." Once they arrived there were 4 different doors. Which one is the right door? What do you think is hiding behind the wrong doors? Write in the comments. The key they have will open the 3rd door. The door led them to an empty room. There were only 3 sticks and a note on the floor that said, "Solve this and the next step on the path to eternal life will appear. If you can't, you'll forever be trapped in here. Turn these 3 sticks into 4 without breaking a single one." They just need to make the shape of 4, and 3 sticks are enough for that. Suddenly, the walls began to move apart, expanding the space into a much larger area. Jack realized they were in a maze now. Then, a giant ball appeared behind them, which would crush them if they couldn't find the exit. Take a look at the labyrinth from the bird's eye view. Can you help them find an escape? Let us know in the comments how many seconds it took you. Here's the path they should take to exit the maze. At the end of the maze, there were 4 different columns with images of dotted squares on them. The evil archaeologist said, "We need to press the image that's different from the others. If we press the wrong one, we'll set off booby traps." What kind of trap do you think they are? Write it in the comments. The 4th one is different. 2 famous film producers are having breakfast in an expensive restaurant. They're discussing the budget for a sequel to a very successful movie that got $500 million at the box office. They're talking very quietly since they mention important details of the script. They suspect that someone might overhear them. The producers are right. Some curious people are indeed eavesdropping on their conversation. Find them. There's a guy at the next table holding a magazine upside down. Obviously, he isn't reading it. That girl over there is a journalist. There's a camera lens sticking out of her backpack. See? And that man is eating a salad, but you can notice a microphone hidden in his long hair. 3 people are standing in line in front of an ice cream truck. The first guy is taking a cone from the vendor. The guy behind him is nervous. His hands are in his pockets. The third guy is looking at something through binoculars. Which one of them is a police officer? Look at the first guy. He's got a police radio in his pocket. A biker was traveling along a country road when he heard a scream. A woman was calling for help. She seemed to be in the forest. The biker rode in her direction and saw 3 girls among the trees. They were all begging him to save them from a vampire. "But which of you is the vampire?" the man asked. "It's her!" All the girls screamed and pointed at one another. How could the biker find out who was human? There are 2 side mirrors on the motorcycle. The biker needed to turn the handlebars and check which girl reflected in them. Mary opens her eyes and realizes that she's somewhere unknown. The last thing she remembers is walking in the park and then darkness. There's a lot of garbage in the room. A red lamp is flashing on the ceiling. Mary can leave through the door. It's open. But wait, she needs to take some useful stuff from the room. She can only choose 2 items. Which ones? Mary needs to get scuba gear and a mask. Look at that small window. Fish are swimming by. Mary is underwater. There are 4 inmates in this prison cell, and they all look pretty hardened to me. Well, all but one. There's a newbie here. Can you guess who it is? You might have thought on the desperate guy, but look, there are 5 dashes on the wall next to him. He's been in prison for some time already. The new guy is opposite him, with no dashes at all. Alex returns to his top floor apartment after a workout at the gym. When he's having lunch, water utility workers come and knock on his door. They say the ceiling in Alex's apartment is about to collapse because his neighbors forgot to turn off a faucet. And now they're flooding the building. They ask the guy to evacuate immediately. Alex closes the door and calls the police. Why? He lives on the top floor. No one can flood him. Annie just got a new motorbike she's been dreaming about for years. In the morning, she polished it for her evening bike ride, closed the garage, and went to work. In the evening, she opened the garage and found that her motorbike was gone. She questioned 3 neighbors. Adrian said, "When I went grocery shopping at noon, the motorbike was still in your garage." Angela said that she'd left before sunrise and had just returned home. Kate said that she hadn't paid any attention to Annie's house. She'd been worried about her job interview. Who stole the bike? Adrian. He said that he'd seen the bike in the garage.
But it couldn't be true because it had been closed. There was a grand ball organized in honor of Miss Parsons' birthday, and half of the town was invited. Suddenly, the lights in the entire building went off for a couple of minutes. When the lights came back on, Miss Parsons' beautiful diamond earrings were missing. The main suspect was her distant cousin, Sylvia. But the girl said that she'd been in the bathroom fixing her makeup. She didn't even notice the lights had gone out because she'd been busy. Who's lying, Miss Parson or Sylvia? The lights went out in the entire building. If Sylvia had been fixing her makeup, she would have definitely noticed that something was wrong. Adele found her friend Oliver on the floor in his studio in the attic. She called the police. The officer who came asked the girl to tell him what had happened. Adele said that she'd been walking past Oliver's house and noticed that the lights were on. She came up to the window, peeked inside, and saw him on the floor. She called the police and ran into the house. The officer didn't believe her. Do you? No, it doesn't sound right. The guy was in the attic. Adele couldn't possibly see him through the window. One rainy evening, Martha came home and found that someone had eaten her chocolate bar. She asked her siblings who had done that. Laura said that she'd been working out in her room and she didn't even eat sweets. Ashley said that she would never eat someone else's chocolate. Luna said that she'd been outside watering plants in the garden. She had just come home herself. Who lied? I'd say it was Luna. It was raining outside, so she didn't really need to water the plants. In summer, someone broke into the mansion of a rich lady and stole her expensive collection of jewelry. There were 3 main suspects, and police came to interrogate them. Mrs. Wood said, "I've seen Mrs. Olson's beautiful collection, but we're friends. I would never steal anything." Mrs. Stone said, "I spent the summer with my sons, and I was busy with them and the housework." Mr. Clark said, "I spent the last month on vacation in Norway and just returned home 15 minutes ago." Who lied? Mr. Clark most likely lied. He said that he'd just come back home, but look at his kitchen. There are fresh fruits on the table and a lot of food in the fridge. If he wasn't here for a month, they would have been all rotten by now. In a magical forest, there's a fairy, Alu. She always tells the truth, but on April Fool's Day, she always lies. One day you ask her, "When is April Fool's?" Alu says, "It's tomorrow." The next day, you ask her again, and she says, "It's tomorrow." Again. What were the days when you asked her? So one of the days, she definitely lied. One of the days was April Fool's. If you ask her the first time on April Fool's, then the next day she would have to tell the truth. So she told the truth on the first day and lied on the second day. So the first time you asked, it was March 31st, and the second time you asked, it was April 1st. Mr. Spencer and Mr. Tucker are business partners who own a company together. One weekend, they went on a camping trip in the woods. A week later, Mr. Tucker comes to the police and says that Mr. Spencer had taken him deep into the woods and left him there without any equipment or tools. Afterwards, Mr. Tucker had to spend a whole week in the woods trying to find a way out. As soon as he got out, he came to the police to report Mr. Spencer. Mr. Spencer was interrogated too and denied everything, saying that Mr. Tucker was framing him. The police didn't file the report. Why? Mr. Tucker is perfectly shaved for a person who just got out of the woods. He must have made up the story. Maeve woke up in a dark dungeon and couldn't remember what had happened, but she for sure needed to get out, so she looked around and saw one big metal door. The door required a password. 6 digits were already placed correctly: 8, 5, 4, 9, 1, 7. There were 0, 2, 3, and 6 left. Maeve has one try to make it right. What's the correct order? The password consists of all 10 digits, each one used once. Maeve only needs to figure out the order. They're placed in alphabetical order, so the order of the remaining ones should be 6, 3, 2, and 0. In a parallel universe, it's only allowed to have fun and eat candy. No one studies or does anything lame. Mrs. Relham returned home after a day and night out with her best friends and asked her daughters how their day had been. "I went clubbing with friends. Thanks for the dress. I wore it and loved it," said Hannah. "I went to the water park and had a sleepover," said Elle. "I was just gaming the whole time," said Ava. One of them lied. Who? It must be Hannah. Look, the dress she said she wore still has the price tag on.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.